Well, from Club Men's 8s to Club Women's 8s now. This is the Wargrave Challenge Cup. On the far side of your screen on the Berkshire station, that is Vesta Rowing Club A, and on the right-hand side of your picture, that is the City of Bristol. And City of Bristol, that is an electric start from them. They are drifting ever so slightly into the middle of the water, and umpire Fiona Dennis having to get the flag out nice and early there.
Yeah, getting involved nice and early there, the umpire, trying to make sure that Bristol stay their line. Electric was probably one word. I would say magnetism to the middle of the course, certainly taking full advantage of their Buckinghamshire station there. And of course, in these 8s, it is the cox who's responsible for steering the boat, so the onus doesn't fall on any of the rowers. They can focus on what they need to do, which is getting down the course as quickly as possible. And it looks like that little deviation in steering has cost Bristol a little bit here.
Well, Bristol have got a huge task ahead of them, right? Because this crew from Vesta were finalists in the Henley Women's Regatta just a few weeks ago in the club aspirational events there for the Copers Cup. They fell out to a very strong Thames Rowing Club A crew in the final, but certainly, you know, they're a giant of the Thames stretch. They are consistently in finals, and as I say, they've already been contested a major final here at Henley this year. So City of Bristol know that they had to go out hard to stay in touch.
Exactly, yeah, they're a powerhouse of domestic rowing. Vesta Rowing Club, obviously off the Putney embankment. They stare over the road at Thames Rowing Club. Their boathouse is almost a few metres apart, and they've got 7 of the 9 who raced in the Wargrave last year. And I love this from their 2C, Kate Griffiths, who actually watched Vesta against Sydney last year and was so inspired that she thought, do you know what, I want to come back to Vesta and I want to try my arm. And here she is in the 2C, leading Vesta out to try on what looks like a pretty good race over City of Bristol.
Yeah, the 2C, if you're not familiar, that's the person who is sort of one in from the front of the boat, the end of the boat that's going towards the finish line, not the person right on that end, but one in. That's the 2C. So that's yeah, Kate Griffiths there. What a great story to inspire her to take rowing back up. And as we move down the course, Vesta still, I would say, very lively still, considering that they've got, you know, an ocean of clear water back to the City of Bristol. Perhaps just wanting to put on a show for the Remenham Club fans as they come past, of which Vesta are a member.
That might well be it. I suppose we talked about conservation in the last race. The other thing is not allowing yourself to ease off too much, because you've got to stay aware not only of your opposition, you've got to respect what they're doing, but also you want to make sure that you get a proper run down the course as far as you can go, so that your legs aren't completely, you know, alarmed when you are forced to race right to the line in future rounds. So Vesta will stay lively, I'm sure. They'll lap up the applause of the stewards as they come past the Remenham Club, as you point out. But City of Bristol are going to need something, yeah, pretty huge here to restore parity with Vesta.
We talked about Vesta getting to the final of that aspirational club event at the Henley Women's Regatta. This crew here from the City of Bristol made the quarter-finals in that same event. So the form book looking to play out here in front of us in this round of the Wargrave here at Henley Royal Regatta. But it's been a great week so far for the City of Bristol. They've got entries not only in this Wargrave Challenge Cup, but also in the Thames and the Britannia. They've really got a broad squad here in not only the women's 8, but in some of the men's club events as well. Great to see a programme from Bristol coming here in force.
100%. For the sport to grow and to continue to be attractive to everybody in this country and beyond, it needs to have clubs that aren't just hailing from the same spot of land in London or in the Thames Valley, and Bristol is a great example of a club who are doing that. You can see here the umpire not fully convinced that this race is over. She's just warning Vesta back onto her station, or their station I should say, because they've drifted out into the middle of the course, so it's not completely run.
Yeah, Fiona Dennis there had to sort of warn a couple of times during this race, but equal pittings. Bristol have had one off the end of the island. Vesta now, as they've got that time and space out at the front of this race, often it's very tempting for the cox to do that, isn't it? So the Felicity Carroll in the Vesta crew who's coxing and steering this boat, you can just about see her cap there over the heads of these athletes. She's got the reins, the controls here to steer this crew. And as you get out in front, one of the things that you can do is sort of drift, take advantage of the better water, but also send back sort of more dirty water the further across you are to the other person's station.
It's such a peculiar sport, rowing, in that sense. If you're winning, you know, there you go. She's warning Vesta again, Fiona Dennis, And it is a strange thing. If you're winning, you can sort of watch what's going on behind you, watch the race unfold. Whereas if you're losing and you do have to row in that dirty water, you not only lose sight, you also lose sound of the crew that you're chasing. So it becomes doubly difficult. And you can see there, Felicity just warning her crew, or just maybe composing her crew as they come through stewards. They have now dropped the rate. The intensity's gone off. She just needs to be aware that that line has to stay true and firmly on the Berkshire station.
Yeah, they look confident now. They've allowed themselves to take that stroke rating down another few notches. City of Bristol, we probably will see close back in these final few stages, just they're making the most of their regatta. They will race it to the line, and this will be a much shorter margin than we saw earlier up through the course. But you can just see the difference there in stroke ratings as Vesta Rowing Club A will cross the line in this Wargrave Challenge Cup ahead of City of Bristol by just one length at the end there. City of Bristol really putting it all out there on the water to close out their campaign. But Vesta Rowing Club A will win that round of the Wargrave Challenge Cup.